In around 2010, the Canadian Armed Forces were looking for a replacement for CADPAT tempered woodland and arid due to improvements in night vision and IR detection and their changing environmental operations. In around 2019, the Canadian Army began its testing for its new camouflage pattern on their SOCEM with the prototype J pattern, which is the most well-known one, with the goal in finding a single multi-terrain pattern that would be used to not use any more separate camouflages like arid and tempered woodland. In 2019 to 2020, prototype J trials began. In 2019, they began with the 3rd Battalion Royal Canadian Regiment and other small trial units based in the Canadian military. Some of the characteristics that prototype J had early on in its testing was it had a lot more green and a lot of its more brown, darker brown shade in the camouflage. Prototype J was inevitably really only an experimental camouflage. But by 2021, they decided that the Canadian military would go with what is now known as CADPAT MT, which has not as much green, a little dulled down on the brown, on a darker brown, and had more of the light brown. The whole idea and whole point of CADPAT MT was to be able to use in multi-environments, mixed woodland, and have improvements on its overall IR detection and sensors and other up-to-date technology. As of 2021 and 2023, the camouflage started to be used in trials and was refined through that time through, again, same units being issued out a little bit more, but it generally stayed pretty rare to be seen. 2024, the official rollout was starting to get issued to high readiness units first, and then units prepared for deployment prior combat armies, and this is when it started to be issued to its true operational phase. In 24-26, what we see now, CADPAT MT has really started to get issued in around late 25 when the Canadian military issued out a statement that they would start issuing this troops, and you can see just in general through posts online and then just word of mouth that MT is starting to get pushed out as far as uniform pieces go. And hopefully by 27, late 2030, the Canadian military will be able to adopt most of its camouflage to be replaced with CADPAT MT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel, Jacob Reviews. Today, right in front of you, I have CADPAT MT next to sets of tempered woodland. I would like to talk today about, after that brief talk about the history of MT, I want to talk about, in general, the uniform cuts for you, as that's what I'm very interested in bringing to you guys. So let's get into it. These are the MT uniforms. These were made in 24, pants were 23, those pants are 2019, those are 2012. I will get to the pants later, but let's first talk about the uniform. The uniform is a simple ECU cut. If you're not familiar with ECU cut is basically the most modern Canadian uniform cut you can get. What is it? Well, you get a name tape, you get Velcro for rank, you have collar that can pop up, protect your neck from chafing when you're wearing, for example, the frag vest. You have basically flush pockets with side zippers on the side, Velcro, larger pockets at the bottom. You have blank spots here, division. You also have these, same zipper pockets on your arm. If you can't access these when you're wearing your equipment, you can definitely access these on the arm. You can kind of transfer the stuff. It's pretty much the same area of the mask can be thrown in there or down here, give or take, right? And then it repeats itself on the same side, but you have your national flag right there, the Canadian national flag. Cuffs, Velcro, just like on any modern uniform cut. elbow reinforcement. And then that's pretty much it. You have tension in the back to be cinched up around your waist. Cute note of the camouflage, or a little Easter egg, I should say, that they decided to do is if you look hard enough and long enough, you will eventually find maple leaves scattered around in the pattern. Usually they're in these, if not only, are in these brown spots right there. Okay, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about the pants real quick here. Again, it's a quick overview. There's not much to talk about. But the camouflage itself, as you can tell, it's very much different from its tempered woodland counterpart. And it's a mix of arid, tempered woodland, one camouflage. Militaries around the world are adopting multicam, many like camouflages in that sense. United States OCP, Italians with Vegito, you know, Belgians, French, they've all adopted this, the multi-fleck tarn that the Germans adopted. This is a trend that's happening all over, but the Canadians, kind of like the Germans and the Italians, they kind of kept their roots, and they stuck with the digital camouflage that they basically started the whole trend of it. So they stuck with their roots, and basically just multi-camified or multi-trainified the tempered woodland digital pattern. Pants, again, ECU cut, Velcro, buttons, loop-through belt, button with zipper, back pockets, two side pockets, so like leg pockets, button again, shown over, grommets, I believe, are also at the bottom. These pockets are at the bottom at least. I think it's not pleated. No, they're pleated. I believe so. That's the word for it. And then on the bottom they have Velcro. And then it basically copies itself from the side, or the other side. And then there's a back portion, which of course there's the reinforced rear of extra fabric. Now the reason why I bring these up, and then also the back pockets are buttoned too, rather than Velcro. The reason why I bring this up is because let's talk about not only that we have MT, but we have also a generation of pants throughout the years, starting from 2012, 2019 to 24. One thing I realized is from 2012 up to 2023, you could tell that there was a major shift in a lot of stuff, and then it kind of gradually went down in the stuff they needed on their pants, and features and stuff, and basic. But I'll get into that right here. Let's talk about the 2012 variant. It's 2012 variant. So same pockets basically. They kept buttons, Velcro. Same system. No knee pads inserts yet. But as far as the blousing goes, the blousing is with a cord that is stopped by a grommet. So that's how you build a blouse to the bottom. And then back pockets are buttons. A simple pair of pants. Really is. And then on the inside here, there's that extra fabric that you can stuff into your boot or do whatever, but you can actually, there's buttons right up here. They're not visible, but they're inside that you can fold it in, button it up, and then it won't fall down. So if you don't want to have the extra fabric out, it will stay up, which is pretty darn cool. And again, also bottom reinforced. Now we got 2019. Okay, well, let's look at 2019. What did they start doing here? So again, same principles as any other pants zipper, button, belt loops. Velcro, pockets, buttoned pouches, or not buttoned pouches, but you get the point. They have another pocket. This one, for some reason, I don't know. Did they? No, they didn't. They didn't do it right. No. This one, they decided to like sculpt it instead of just keeping it square. They have knee pad inserts right here, and then they also have these smaller pockets right here. And on the bottom, they did a mixture of bungee and Velcro. Why? I don't know. It's a mess, honestly. I don't like it. and I see why they probably got rid of it when they transitioned to 24, right? And again, it just copies over, and I think the back are, yeah, these are Velcro, even though those ones are buttons, and they're buttons. So they kind of basically went from this, they overdid it with this, and they kind of went back and realized, okay, we overdid it with 2019 variants or whatever, these types of ECU variants. And they kind of went back on their traditions with the 2012s and whenever that generation of pants went up till, and realized, okay, and they found kind of a very good balance, which I believe these are just perfect for what they are. They're basic, they're military pants, they're not supposed to be crazy or anything like that, right? So yeah, basically that's all I wanted to go over, guys. There's not much to really go over besides the uniform cut and the fact that I was able to get multi-terrain. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please ask me in the comments below. And if there's anything you believe I can improve on, also let me know. Again, it's just a quick video talking about multi-terrain. There's not much else to talk about besides, that it's camouflage that it is, and that the Canadians just basically started to adopt it and introduce it to the military. All right, thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.